Hi, I'm Dr. Joseph Baker at the Limmer Chiropractic Center, and I want to welcome you tonight as we talk about your health. We have a healthcare system that is remarkably broken. I don't think that there's anybody out there that would disagree with that statement. The amazing thing is that the brokenness of the system has led to us making poor decisions about how it is that we care for our body. And for some of us, listen, some of the choices that we make have been patterned into our existence, well, not in our generation, but in the generations before us. They've been played out again and again by our parents and our grandparents. And oftentimes, as we ask patients, well, why is it that you do it that way? The answer is always the same. It's because how my mom did it. It's how my dad did it. It's how I saw others doing it. Well, let me tell you, tonight we're going to talk about, in this half an hour, we're going to talk about some of the things that you need to be aware of so that you're able to make better healthcare decisions. Now listen, as we go through this workshop tonight, we're going to talk about a lot of different things. I'm going to encourage you to do one thing. Boil down all your choices, all your takeaways to just simply one thing. We're not going to waste moments. We're not going to waste time. It's going to be a matter of boiling it down to the one thing. In the comment section below, I want you to leave me a comment of what's the one thing that you're going to work on that struck you, that you need to address because you realize, you know what, that's a big problem in your health. That's a big problem that leads to more dysfunction in your body. That's a big problem that if you don't correct, is going to lead you to a crisis situation that you don't want. Now, obviously, like always, I'm going to ask you to like this video. I'm also going to ask you to make sure that as you have that opportunity, you share this with your friends. Because anybody listening is going to hear this information and they're going to have some of those same takeaways as you do. And the amazing thing is, regardless of whether you're a chiropractic patient or not, does not matter. You could take information away from this conversation, put it into play today, and it help start the improvement in your body and in your health immediately. We've been taught the fact that healing comes from the outside. Hey, listen, here's a pill. Take this pill. It's going to solve all your problems. I have this needle. I'm going to inject this stuff into your system. It's going to save you from whatever ails you. The fact that as long as you have no pain, you got no problem. As long as you feel good, you're healthy. See, these are some of those lies that we've been told. And if you really think about it, we have to understand what the truth actually is. In fact, that all healing in our body comes from the inside out. Don't take my word for it. Go break a bone. Go get a cut. The last time I checked, when you have a cut, you have a broken bone, you know what your body does? It starts the healing process right away. You break a bone, osteoblasts, osteoclasts, these little bone cells, they go to work, let me think, not with you telling them to. It doesn't wait for you to command them and say, hey, listen, start breaking this down, remodeling it, smooth out the edges, taper it down to the way it was before. No. You have an innate intelligence, an inborn intelligence that drives that conversation without you having to say absolutely anything. But that's all the healing that comes from within. The fact of the matter is that, all that pain is only a demonstration of what's happening within. In fact, the pain is only a signal. Sort of like the signal on the dashboard of your car. Well, just because that red oil light's there doesn't mean that's where the problem is. We've been taught where the pain is, that's got to be where the problem is. Show me where it hurts you. What a bad diagnosis tool. Show me where it hurts you. Because we can have problems that demonstrate themselves as tingling and numbness in the fingers, and we'll think, well, hey, listen, it must be carpal tunnel because it's happening right here, and yet the nerves that come out of the base of your neck could be pinched and irritated, and those signals travel all the way down your arm. Something that's 3 feet away from where the pain is. And that's just one example. But listen, when we look at these things, this disruption in our nervous system connection, that is called a subluxation. It is a silent killer. The problem is that when we talk about the health of our body, these subluxations destroy the body. And in turn, the health of our body is in direct proportion to the health of our spine and our nervous system. A sick posture, that outward sign of what our spine looks like, demonstrates that sick structure within. That only leads to bad connections with every single tissue, organ, system in your body. So how could we expect that our body is able to fight off disease, to fight off illness, to heal as well as it's supposed to, if we're choking off the information highway? If we're choking off your brain's ability to get the signal that it produced at 100% out to the tissues and organs and all those systems at 100%. Well, let me help you out. It can't do it. And it's not going to do it. And it's not a chiropractic thing. If you look at NCVs, nerve conduction velocity tests, SSEPs, somatosensory evoked potential tests, EMGs, electromyography testing, guess what? They all tell the same thing. Irritate the nerve, choke the nerve, resistance across the line, the signal doesn't get through as fast, it doesn't get through as strong, it doesn't get through the way it was created. You could talk to any electrician. They're going to talk about Ohm's law. They're going to talk about how that same Ohm's law affects the electrical line and it'll affect the electrical system in your body. So, how do these subluxations get created? A lot of different ways. Starts with the birthing process. 4,000 impacts by the time we're 4 years of age. In other words, you stand up, you fall down. Pretty simple. Watch a 2-year-old. See them going up and down and up and down. Once they do get up, watch them as they trip over their own feet, right? We have sports accidents. We have automobile accidents. We sleep in really bad positions. We got these things called computers. Guess what? Not a real good thing if it's not ergonomically set up the way it's supposed to. Bad sleeping positions. Finally, we have gravity. Constantly pushing down on our body, causing us to degenerate and wither and break down faster than we're supposed to. And yet, these subluxations, when they happen, let me tell you, it doesn't matter how they happen. Your body doesn't care the how. All it knows is once it happens, it creates stress. And yeah, stress can be created by these subluxations. And in fact, stress can also create the subluxation itself. Amazing thing is there's a lot of different types of stressors, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, chemical stresses. Your body doesn't care. I was just talking to a couple patients today about the fact that they've had incidents occur in their life. Incidents that created a high level of mental stress. And it was just simply amazing how we got to see systems that had been working really, really well, functioning at a high level, performing really well, all of a sudden breaking down. All of a sudden having those signals, the pain, the discomfort, the tightness, wasn't there. But the mental stress, because it affects the central nervous system, is able to have that gateway to find all those little weak links in the system and exploit them. Put a magnifying glass on them. And the sad thing is unfortunately, until that mental hurt goes away, some of these effects are going to continue to be seen until you get to the root cause of what's causing them. And that's the key ingredient. Now, I do have to say, I happen to love this particular study. It's called the Windsor study. It talks about how, you know what, when they did autopsies on bodies, they recognized they got to see organ failures, those bodies with organ failures, and they got to trace the nerve all the way back from the organ right back to the spine and see how the nerve was compressed at the spine. In other words, the subluxation caused the organ to become damaged, withered, and die. Do subluxations kill? Absolutely yes. They rob us of our vitality. They rob us of our ability to enjoy life, to perform activities. But let's understand, it's not just what we're feeling, it's what we're not feeling that's killing us also. See, the sad thing is that unfortunately our nervous system, only 10% of it can even transmit a pain signal. People oftentimes say, hey, listen, in fact, you probably have had friends. You told them, you should go get checked by a chiropractor. You can go see my chiropractor. And they say, oh, you know what? I feel fine. No pain, no problem. It's like, really? I'm looking at your posture. It doesn't look real good. It's like, yeah, no pain, no problem. Well, let's think about it. What is the last thing to show up in a disease process? Pain. Most people who have cancer, most people who have a cavity, most people who have, diabetes, high blood pressure, listen, they're not starting out with pain. It's that very last thing to show up. And I hear it time and time again. I wish I had known sooner. See, the amazing thing is that thinking that we have no pain, that we have no problem, is one of those ultimate lies. Oh, it's a wonderful facade that we throw over ourselves. I feel fine. Therefore, my body is functioning perfectly. Baloney. See, the problem is that what we don't know will hurt us. What we don't know will kill us. And unfortunately, sooner or later, we have to deal with the crisis that comes because we're not willing to maintain the system that's supposed to be in play. So when we talk about health, when we actually talk about, well, what is health? I love these definitions. This is Dorland's Medical Dictionary. Health is a state of optimal mental, physical, and social well-being, and not merely an absence of disease or infirmity. I love the fact that it has got nothing to do with pain. This is a medical dictionary. And it takes more than one thing for us to be healthy. Just figure. Going to the gym doesn't make us healthy. Eating just an organic, meal isn't going to be that thing that sustains our health, that makes us healthy. Just getting adjusted is not the only thing in order to make you healthy. Each one of these has a component, it has a part, but independently, they're not going to simply make you healthy. Not when we talk about optimal health, 100%. Now, I do love Webster's Dictionary. I love this definition because it quantifies a condition of wholeness in which all of the organs are functioning 100% of the time. Suffice it to say that pain or symptoms alone or lack thereof does not show one's state of health or sickness. 100%. When we're talking about health, it takes more than one thing. It has nothing to do with pain. And let me think, our body has to be functioning at that 100% for us to be healthy. A lack of health is called disease. Most of us don't walk around wanting that banner of, I have disease. This is my status of health. No, but that's oftentimes what we expect. And when we talk about health and we talk about the different factors, we could spend days talking about all of these different things. And I think of them like spokes on a wheel. I love that, that visual, having that center hub and then those spokes that come out. And as long as these things are in play and they're functioning at that optimal level, the wheel just keeps going around real smoothly. But it's like one of the old Westerns. Take one of those spokes, break it. All of a sudden, we got this wheel that doesn't spin quite as fluidly. Maybe you feel that way. I can do a lot of things, but that's a little bit of a problem. Then as we start having 2 or 3 of these spokes broken down just a little bit, guess what? That wheel, it doesn't run very smoothly. In fact, the problem is that we have more of that nuisance and we have a harder time keeping things going in the right direction. And when we look at this list, whether we're talking about exercise, nutrition, rest, a positive mental attitude, or a properly working nervous system, yeah, we could talk about the hierarchy, and we'll talk about, the most important thing in another workshop. But we need all 5 of those things functioning at an optimal level for us to consider to be healthy. See, the problem is that most people, in the end, they want to focus on the thing that resonates with them, that's really easy for them. Hey, it's easy for me to go into the gym. That's wonderful. I like the feeling that I get from lifting weights or running or exercise. For some people, it's the fact that I feel I'm doing my part as I'm feeding and fueling my body those really, really good choices. For some, it's, hey, listen, I have that clean thought pattern. I do my meditation, I have my prayer, I have my yoga, I do all of these different things in order to focus on my mind and that clarity. See, but in the end, let's recognize one thing. The health of our body is in direct proportion to the health of our spine and our nervous system. We could take away any of those other things, but if our nervous system isn't working properly, there isn't any other system in our body can function the way it's supposed to. Yeah, and a lot of people say, hey, listen, my cardiac, the heart is the most important thing. I hate to disagree with you, but the last time I checked, the heart works off of an electrical impulse, and if you turn off you damper that electrical impulse, guess what? The heart's not going to pump real well. Those nerves, they come from the upper part of your back, come from the lower part of your neck. Go figure. If you have text neck, if you have that hunched over, guess what? Those nerves that would be responsible for that cardiac system can't work the way they're supposed to. The heart is a muscle. Cut the nerve to it, guess what? It's going to stop working that quickly. Let's remember that. Your nervous system, it's the very first system to form. It controls absolutely every other system in the body. In fact, it was responsible for forming every other system. The sad thing is that when we do have subluxations, 90% of them are in the spine. 90% of them are going to affect that cord, which means in the end, it has the capability of being that biggest deterrent for our body to function and communicate at 100%. We want to make sure that we allow for the body to continue to heal the way it's supposed to. So when we talk about real big keys as far as success to guiding your health, let's understand, they're in your control. You have control over these things. You need to be consistent with your care. For many of you, as you're going through the corrective care process, there's things that you're going to need to be doing. Like has been described, you need to not only be getting adjusted, but learning how to do your exercises. You also need to be doing your traction. And in turn, that trio of things, sort of like a 3-legged stool, allows you to gain momentum and move forward even more quickly than you become broken down. Now, here's the thing. The one thing that's missing off of that list is this educational process. If you're watching this, this is great. Because in the end, the education is even more important than the physical adjustment. Because if you stop doing the stupid things that have created many of the problems that you have and are adding to the problems that you have, then guess what? You get to heal even more quickly. You get to move forward even more quickly. But we get frustrated when we start doing the same inane things again and again and again and wonder, why am I not getting back to where I want to be? Why do I have good days and then I seemingly have a couple bad days? Many of us get in our own way. And if we're not educating ourselves and continuing to make those better choices, then sadly, we're sabotaging our own progress. For many of you out there, I know this is a really difficult thing, is making those better choices on a consistent basis. You need to make sure that as we have that opportunity, you get your families checked. Yes, subluxations are hereditarily based at times. We look like our parents on the outside. Guess what? We look like our parents on the inside. Some of these things continue to be passed on from generation to generation. And the sad thing is that if they're not caught early enough, sometimes, sadly, they can't be removed. They can't be wiped clean. But the amazing thing is when we are maintaining the body from birth on the way it's supposed to, guess what? Time is on our side. We don't have to worry about cleaning up a big pile of mess because these subluxations have been there for a long time. We get to deal with really tiny situations that need to just simply be cleaned up, be put back on track, and then maintained again. The amazing thing is that we hold the power over allowing these subluxations to take hold in our body. Our purpose is to educate and adjust as many families to optimum health using natural chiropractic care. I love that. The very first thing is to educate. Parents, I'm going to tell you, your children learn more by what they see you doing and the choices that you make than by the words that come out of your mouth. So I'm going to ask you, as we close this workshop tonight, how can you help? Making sure that you're helping others just simply know what you know about chiropractic. We all know somebody out there that doesn't know what we know about chiropractic, about making better decisions. And this is not just friends. These are our family members. These are our co-workers. These are our children. See, one thing I'm guaranteed of, if you're not having this conversation, nobody else is going to have this conversation. And you have the responsibility, when you know the truth, to share the truth amongst your circle of influence. So like I said from the beginning, listen, I'm going to encourage you. You need to like this workshop. You need to share this workshop. And then finally, I want you to leave me a takeaway. What was the big thing? What was that big thing that you learned from the workshop tonight? Maybe it was, just simply hearing the definitions of what health actually are. Maybe it was some of the lies and how those lies are incongruent with what actual health is. Each and every one of you, it's going to be a different takeaway, and that is fabulous. So I'm going to encourage you. Like it, comment on it, and share it. When you share this, that vulnerability amongst your friends and your family helps other people recognize, they're not in that journey alone. That there's other people out there that are working on helping themselves improve their health one step at a time. The wonderful thing is that hope that we get to give other individuals. I'm Dr. Joseph Baker from the Limmer Chiropractic Center.